Hi everyone, Christina here. Welcome to another card video at my YouTube channel and blog. Today I'm going to be creating two cards, both using the same design, but one card will have all stamping on it, and the other card will have some Zig Clean Color Real Brush Marker watercoloring on it. So I'm starting out by scoring some paper. This is Strathmore Bristol paper. I chose this paper in particular because of the Zig Clean Color Real Brush Markers. They tend to work better on Bristol paper and they can blend and move around more. So I decided to use Bristol for both cards, even though I'm only going to be watercoloring on one. For this first card, I'm using some inks from Waffle Flower. I'm using Happy Go Lucky, My Pleasure, You Said What, Chirp Chirp, and New Fish in Pond. I'm going to do some guides on my card before I get to the stamping, and I'm using the circle stamp set from Simon Says Stamp called Lots of Dots. I'm going to use a T-square ruler and a pencil and just draw in a very faint guideline that will help me as I stamp all of these dots. I'm going to do a row of dots, kind of a rainbow of colors, and I'm first going to start out with the dot that's in the middle. The color I've chosen for this is You Said What, and I'm going to ink up that stamp and then go ahead and stamp that in the center of the card right above that very faint pencil line that I've drawn. You can't see it very well on camera or on video, but I was definitely able to see it in person. So these inks are of a formula that kind of dries back a little bit more solid once it's dry. So these might look a little splotchy at first, but they'll dry back really well. I'm using a stamp chamois to clean off my stamp. I like to use the stamp chamois and store it in an airtight container so that it stays wet, because it does need a little bit of moisture to be able to clean the stamps. So I just store it in there, and I like to use that particular cleaning method when I'm going to be stamping using the same stamp but different colors of ink. It cleans off the stamp really, really well. For just everyday stamping where I'm switching between stamps and it's not as important that there's no color transfer, I just use a baby wipe. That works really fast and easy for me. But for cases like this, I do take the extra time to use that stamp chamois. So moving on to the other card now, I'm going to add that very faint guideline in as well. And then I'm going to go in and start using some Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. The colors I'm using are light green, yellow, turquoise green, purple, and light carmine. Light carmine happens to be one of my most favorite colors out of all of these markers, so I use it in almost every card that I create. Like I did with the yellow ink, I'm starting out with the yellow watercolor marker, and I'm using a large Pentel Aquash brush to spread around that color. This is a water brush, and I'm not really squeezing that brush at all. I'm just letting the small amount of water that's already on the bristles of the brush, I'm allowing that water to really spread the color. Going in with green, and I'm going to spread out that color as well. In between colors, I'm just wiping off my brush onto a paper towel. That removes any of that color from the markers, and then I can get a nice clean painting on the next color. You can see how easy those colors spread on this Bristol paper. I've said it in the past, and I'll say it again today. If you are having trouble using your Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers, please try it on some Bristol paper. It will be life-changing. I've heard from so many of you and a few of my friends who have decided to try it on Bristol paper, and it makes such a huge difference. I can't remember who I heard that tip from originally, but I am definitely passing on that bit of knowledge because it has really changed how I use my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. So go ahead and spread all that color out. And then I'm going to start on the rest of the card for both of these. The first thing I'm going to do is erase the pencil line that is below each of the row of dots. I just want to get rid of that pencil line before I move on to any other stamping. So I'm just using my regular pencil that I use to draw on that line, and I'll just remove that pencil line. So now I'm going to do some stamping of the greeting. This is the Because You stamp set for My Favorite Things, and I'm going to pick two different greetings for the cards. I'm stamping both in Simon Says Stamp black ink, and I've mounted the greeting to a Fiskars compact stamp press. For greetings, I like to put it on a large stamp press like this because I feel like I get a more even impression and I don't kind of rock and roll the stamp block because it's on this large surface area. So I stamped both of those greetings in black ink. And now I'm going to do some white embossing and some stamping with this Tons of Hearts stamp set from Simon Says Stamp. The inspiration behind this card design actually came from an image of Easter eggs that I saw on Pinterest. So if you want to see the original image, you can click on the link down in the video description or in the blog post for this video at my blog. So I'm prepping the area for the stamping, and you'll notice that I did a test run. I didn't stamp any at all first. I wanted to make sure that those dots were completely dry, and they weren't completely dry, so I'm glad I tested them. So I set them aside and let them dry overnight. So now it's the next morning and everything is super dry. I'm ready to start stamping, and I'm stamping the small heart in Versamark ink on top of each of the dots. I'm having them a little bit off center, more to the right side of the dot, and I'm trying to get it in the same place for all 5 dots. I'm now putting on some Hero Arts white embossing powder, and you'll notice that that embossing powder just flakes off super easy now. That's because I allowed all of those stamped images to completely dry overnight. Like I mentioned before, this ink formula is meant to be dry to the touch, but it does take a little longer to dry. It really soaks into the paper, and that's why it was a little bit still damp when I tried to do that embossing beforehand. So I'm going to put the stamps on the watercolor card, and I'll put the embossing powder right over the top, and then I'll use my finger and tap the card really firmly, and that shakes off any of the excess embossing powder that may have stuck to areas. Use my heat tool to heat up all of the embossing powder until it's smooth and melted. I also hit the back of the cardstock. That just helps with the warping a little bit. And then I folded the cards. And those are the finished cards for today. Super simple and easy. I just wanted to show you guys that sometimes you can use your watercolor markers or even traditional watercolors to create a design that is made with stamps. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I will catch you in the next card video. Thanks for watching. If you would like to see some additional card videos where I use Zig Clean Color Wheel brush markers, you can click on them on screen right now.